Okay, change that angle. You can just scroll up. I think we're good. Yo, yo. Okay. Happy 4th to the Americans who are definitely not here watching this live right now. But it is Thursday at 2 o'clock. And so we are here with another live training because tribe leaders overshare and go face to face with their people. So it's what we do, is what you do. That's what we're going to do today. Talk about backwards whiteboard. We'll get a proper setup one of these days, but until then, it's going to be backwards. So today we're going to be talking about the motivation systems that we use to create an insane amount of proof that you can use to attract more of the right customers and give yourself credibility and own your reputation to dominate your corner of the internet. So that's what we are gonna. It really starts with the structure of how we build membership sites, right? And so the whole point of it is, getting the narrative that we talked about to get that like member mission so that people are bought into this thing. We even did a video yesterday and it was talking about the founder of Run Cult. And he basically says, if you can find something that people will dedicate their lives to, there is unlimited monetization there. And so running is a great example of it, but we try to use that philosophy when building the narratives for our brands, for our membership sites. And once you have that, then really the whole structure of it just comes down to how do we reverse engineer what we call the proof loop, right? So we want to get as many people to that end where they get that result, they become that new identity. And because that gives us the most insane amount of proof, but that also means that we've changed their lives enough that they've gotten the result that we promised. That should be the main goal of everybody's business here. But it all comes down to reverse engineering that. So we're going to show you actually, let me share my screen first so you can get an idea of. This is essentially Funk's process whenever he's somebody's on the fence about joining the Brotherhood, or he wants to show them a bit about like how we build tribes. He usually starts with the proof page. It's so he'll just go live or Wall of Fame. It's something we believe everybody should have, just a place that you can put all of your social proof to reinforce that core positioning. And so it starts off with a video, but it's mostly the fact that he can just scroll, 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 and he'll just be talking and he'll just be telling and like answering the questions that they sent to him. Maybe they're a little hesitant on the program. Does it work? Like, is it going to be for me? Our point is that we want to be able for them to see somebody like themselves in these images where they can see like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it, right? And so I'm just trying to have like a vast amount, within your own narrative. You don't want to have a bunch of different people, but Funk's people are obviously over 40 and they are beginners. So it's not somebody who's like an athlete or constantly in the gym and they're looking to gain muscle. It's people who are just like your average, usually blue collar worker, and they're dads, over the hump, low energy, belly fat. And these are the people that we want to attract and turn them into over 40 alphas. So visually, you can see these are all very similar style people, so that when the right person who feels the same way hits this page, then they can see, yeah, this works. And so this part is just, I don't know why these aren't loading, but all of these are when somebody's hit one of our proof loops. And then, of course, we have some videos and then just a mess of screenshots you can see. Which I see a lot of people using just screenshots from Facebook as their social proof because it adds credibility. If somebody does a video testimonial, I don't always give that a lot of credibility because you can incentivize those. Whereas somebody who posts on Facebook, it's usually because they felt like doing so. And then you can highlight the pieces that they emphasize that are specific to your pillars and your content. But by having a page like this where you can just put all of your social proof, then it's just an insane amount of credibility. And it really helps overcome imposter syndrome, which a lot of coaches have. And showing kind of how that's set up so that we do get the proof loops, right? This quest that we have is the first 12 months right here is the 1 year to alpha. The next 12 months is the alpha plus, and then the third year is alpha prime, right? And the whole point is to get people to our promised land of the alpha zone, which is 600 plus nanogram deciliters of testosterone and under 15% body fat with the alpha mindset, right? That is our goal for all of these people. And then everything is kind of structured within that, right? Like the whole point is to get people to this part right here, month 12, where we get this is kind of like the big proof loop. but we actually set up proof loops 4 times in the first year and all throughout all 36 months. So kind of our big proof loops is at the end of month 12, where we send them this t-shirt right here. So it's got our pillars of the over 40 alpha, and then it's official over 40 alpha male. This is when they officially become our new identity. And you can see Philippe, he got the whole collection in the first year. So we even put their name on it. We put the program, the identity. And then you can see he's proud of his collection because we send every 3 months. You can see we'll have a special form with what they get so that we get all the proof that you just saw. We get their name, we get their age, what life was like before the O40A, what life is like now, what are the alpha traits, what is their address, what is their goal for the next phase. They have to upload their before picture, they have to upload their now picture, and then that's what turns into all of these. So the fact that we get these 4 times in the first year, we can continually just keep updating the picture as they advance through the program. And then they're incentivized to just keep going and just keep getting to the next milestone, right? Because then phase 6, they get the blue one, or the gray one. By phase 9, they get the blue shirt. And then, so we kind of use the karate systems with it, but that's our proof loop in the first year. And then we also have by month 24, then we got these sweet medallions. So it's got the pillars, it's got the fist.
Thick, heavy, beveled coin, something they can hold on to. It's a real tangible anchor of their accomplishments. And it's because they have to earn these things, like even those 4 shirts in the first year, that's not something they can buy. No one can buy that. They have to earn these things. And so by having earnable loot, it gives more pride to the effort they've put in. People value what they work for. And most people think they can just, pay to get something in exchange. Most people think like just by signing up to a program, they've already done the hard work to move forward to becoming who they want to be. But we know that's not true. And we know that's why people just fall off, because they feel like they've done enough upfront motivation or like inertia to get it going. But it's like you need to constantly reinforce and influence behavior. And that's where this increases motivation to keep them going. Because even like as we get these testimonials submitted, then they unlock their shirt and we can tell their story. But then we also get to put those into the daily emails so that as somebody's starting phase 1, every day they can see one of these pictures to say, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. Oh, this clearly works. Oh, I want to look like that. And so we're constantly motivating them every day and always giving them somewhere to look forward to earn something for free. So it doesn't always need to be paid. You can work that into your like retention systems to know if the cost outweighs the pros outweigh the cons sort of thing, because there are costs involved, but great for retention. Incentives are all about retention. And so the longer you can build that runway, the longer you can increase retention. So because we've built out 36 months, now we're programming them to think, oh, this is not just a 1-month trial or a 1 year to alpha. It's really a 3-year journey. So it changes their mindset going in. So that's another way to motivate them. But by phase 36, by the end of month 36 and phase 3, then Funk's creating a ring. And so, I mean, like all the big leagues, the championships have a ring. And so that's something that we're getting custom built. And there's not a lot of people who have made it to the end of this 36-month journey, but there's a couple of people trickling through, and that's because they want what we've got, right? So,
strong incentives.
So there's a Charlie Munger quote that talks about the power of these incentives. And essentially, incentives are too powerful a control over human cognition or human behavior. If you're in one of these systems, I don't have a solution for you. You'll have to figure it out for yourself, but it's a significant problem. He's talking about negative incentives, but ultimately, people are wired to want free things, and we're wired for growth and achievement. And by unlocking these shirts and taking pictures in these shirts and working out in these shirts, it shows their status over everybody else in the group, and it shows their hierarchy. And then it gives them pride in showing off like what they've earned. And so that's where there's like so many layers to having these incentive systems in place. But as we talked about in a previous training, how there's essentially where they are and where they want to be. And so there's probably a lot of different problem solutions that you can find in between, because every time they solve a problem, then that creates a new problem, a better problem, but ultimately a new problem. And you can get real micro with this. So in the last training, we were saying these ones can each be course modules, membership modules, individual products, lead magnets, depends on what kind of result you're solving for. But imagine you have, these different milestones. Each milestone is where you can incentivize with a loot. This is a t-shirt. And then at that t-shirt level, then you have a form to unlock that. Usually we have a little video overview, a little social proof, like what they're gonna get, and then the questions. And so that goes to Mike in our inbox. And that goes into the Facebook group where we get to tell their story. And so all these people get to see what that person has done. And so that gives them significance because it goes back into the tribe, and now we're putting them on blast for everybody to see. But then that goes into the newsletter. And so now everybody gets that email and they get to see it again, but it also goes into the cold leads that haven't been converted. So now they can see more social proof that the system works, and then put it on like Punk's Facebook, Instagram, put it all over the place because it's good for marketing, but it's also really good to boost the significance of this member, not just by showing off their t-shirt in their workouts and their selfies, but because they have all of this publicity that now it's a deeper commitment into the tribe. Now everybody's seen who they are, what they've done, and how this has worked for them. So people are programmed to commit to their word. And so by saying, this is what the program's done for me, this is how my life has changed, et cetera, we're getting them to say in their own words why they value this program. So now they kind of can't leave, at least anytime soon, because of this like publicity that we're giving them. So it's a deeper commitment back into the tribe. So again, a lot of layers to this system, and it doesn't always have to be a physical thing that you send them, but just by having something that they can unlock at these milestones, it's mostly to reinforce the proof loop, right? So.
And then within there, there's a lot of, because a lot of the times the proof loop will be something that's a very long journey to accomplish, right? Like make your first $1 million or make your first $10,000 or lose 20 pounds and get your testosterone back. Like all of these could take a really long time to accomplish. And so the whole point is to get them to the promised land. But because that's such a long and usually arduous journey, then we really want to create these little dopamine hitters as often as we can, because we know that is released when you are setting goals and when you're accomplishing goals. And so it's also where can you set incentives along the journey and how often can you do that just to keep that dopamine going, just to keep them on, the train on the tracks and just keep it moving forward. And so if we go back to my screen share, and you'll see, this one is more on Funk supplement side, but he also has the Funk Bucks. Right. So one of our philosophies is put money in your hands. Sego, one of our mentors, is really good with this, where if you buy his $1,000 training, then he'll give you 300 mojo bucks. And so he's putting money in your hand because that'll make you want to spend it. And so he'll get a lot more bigger ticket sales because he put this fake money in your hands because you bought something. And so that's one incentive tool. And I was also just looking at Temu, that clothing app, and they are insane. I wonder if we can pull it up. Their incentives are insane.
There it is.
There
surprise
it is.
gift.
Okay. So I just opened the app and then you can see, yeah, surprise gift, spin. And it almost makes me do this. What do we get? Best prize, something free. Okay, yeah. Exclusively for Lucky Thursday. But they're just so good with their incentives, keep pulling you back into Temu. Like the notifications are insane. And once you get here, they just do such a good job at keeping you moving where they want you to be moving, right? And so now it'll make me pick something for free, but I almost guarantee I'm gonna have to buy something to get this. Or Rick's girlfriend just bought a bunch of random stuff just to unlock the coupons. And so
nothing she wanted, but just had cash in hand that she didn't want to lose. So it works. It always works.
So we reverse the whole thing around proof loops, but then within that, then there's nuance at where you can build incentives to keep moving them through so that we can get them to the proof loops. Because if they don't get to the proof loops, then we've hit that last login. then they're gone, right? We've hit that delinquency, they've defaulted, and they're not going to refer. They didn't get results. They don't give you marketable proof. So
most people just leave motivation up to the customer because, oh, they paid for it, so they want this thing, so they're going to do the work if they want it that bad. Either way, I got paid is the typical mindset. But people suck at motivation and doing what's good for them. People are busy, people are overwhelmed, oversubscribed. They're going to use their energy towards the things that are important, their work, their family, and then like whatever bandwidth is left, they probably want for Netflix and TikTok. So we need to constantly give them that motivation. We can't leave motivation up to them. So that's why incentives.
yeah, because the whole thing is retention. So it's attraction to get them in with like the member mission, all of the frame of orientation, all the things we've been talking about in the previous. But then in terms of retention systems, the biggest thing is incentives and where you can get that. And obviously the incentives feed the attraction systems so that the whole thing is like an actual proof loop. It's so cyclical. When they get to the result, it feeds the front end marketing. They see all the proof that it works, which feeds more people into the result, which feeds more people into the attraction. And that's the goal, is just to keep it going round.
So definitely build some incentives into your program, find the milestones, put an incentive in there, whether they know about it or not. It doesn't have to be something that's always like calculated into the experience, because even if it's something unexpected, then that's like an even bigger dopamine hit, because loot boxes are a big thing in video games where you unlock a prize that helps you in the game and you didn't expect it. And so that, because there's like a monetary association possible to those loot boxes, they've become banned in certain countries like Denmark and Netherlands because they're so addictive. They're like little gambling machines that are just so sneakily woven in. Either way, loot boxes are so effective for like increasing dopamine that the brain's like, what? I didn't expect that prize. So therefore there might be other prizes ahead. And it just, the brain wants to find these things. We're like programmed to explore and find these. So that's where it also helps retention, because people just want to know if there's more loot ahead. So build in sneaky loot and build in scheduled, structured loot.
Plus, now that your mind is open to this, then you'll probably just start to see these examples as you go through other people's programs, as you go through apps, like especially the apps that like Duolingo, they make a ton of money. They have a huge user base. There's so many little incentives in there, and they don't send you anything for free. They don't obviously spend a lot of money on it other than coding in the app, but there's so many psychological incentives in there, even like the leaderboard and competition.
Points, badges,
you'll
hot streak.
Just keep your mind open as to what people are doing for it, and you'll start to notice all of these little incentives, because it's just so good for keeping the human behavior moving in the direction that you want it to be going.
So that's our system for generating motivation, proof, stories, spotlight significance, all of that good stuff. And ultimately, that just reinforces the collective identity, because this is what, in this case, over 40 alphas do. And this is the results that we expect. So we just want to incentivize them to get there. Better for everybody. So find the milestones in your program, build incentives, and then amplify those stories.
Yeah.
And that's
essentially, that's how you get an insane amount of proof, which feeds the front end, and so you can get more people into your membership, into your course, into your paid community, into your tribe.
So that's on the product side. We talk brand before we talk product and customer experience, and then you amplify it in the community, like in the spotlight stories, and how you structure those posts with slang and symbolism and all those things. So that's really the three parts, but you can't really build until you understand who you're building for and what you're building. And that's what we call the tribe brand. So that's the core focus of 90-Day Tribe that we're launching September 23rd, official date. And so if you want help building your tribe or relaunching your paid community so that it's identity based, to attract the right people and then move them through the experience to unlock that core identity so they want to pay and stay for life, then leave a comment below and we can see if you're a fit for 90-Day Tribe. And yeah, other than that, go build your tribe, because it's always sunny when you're making money.
All right, cheers, guys.